In space, no one can hear you print. Morning roundup. Man, I think we got a plague. And the plague is these cords messing up. Because this was going fine until very recently. Let's try out a new one. I bet this is going to be completely normal. Okay. I guess it isn't the cord. Maybe there's something stuck in there, I don't know. Over here, Smilodon Skull. Guitar Octo. Guitar Octo. Guitar Octo. T-Rex Skull. Rounding fourth. And we've got our waffling waffly. Seems like there's some kind of joke about, like, why did the cop send the breakfast platter to jail? It disobeyed a waffle order. So I've been thinking about what the strategy's gonna be next year. Obviously, we're gonna pretty much be doing the just make stuff strategy with the business. But I've been thinking of like some new things to do. You know, this Christmas actually wasn't that bad, but it was, I'm trying to think, like maybe half of what it was last year. I think last year was about 3 times more than my usual sales. I've had Christmases where I sold about 4 times more than my usual sales. This is probably like 1.5 to maybe 2. Now, I do think, you know, it's always feels like a cop-out to talk about like macroeconomic factors, but things are really bad for a lot of people. We all know the scare statistics, and at some point that's got to have an impact. It's especially a poignant idea because, like, generally speaking, my year this year was 20-30% higher than it was last year. I'm thinking maybe it's because the products, I've said this before, but it may be that the products I'm selling now are a little less consumer sort of focused, oriented, and more business oriented, like the big food things. That's more for like food trucks and coffee shops and things. So I was kind of thinking last night, like, what would be like sort of a good thing to do? What's an asymmetric thing I can try? And I started thinking about like gift shops and stuff like that. One advantage that I have, especially with a lot of the headphone stands, is I've been selling them for a long time. This is my 8th Christmas. I think we kind of brought the headphone stand into being some like 2 or 3 years into the business. So I know which ones generally are going to sell or more likely to sell. And I was then thinking about like how many of these guys I could pack into like one of those big boxes from Lowe's. But then I started thinking about the M3IS. So gift shops could sell these all day long for 25-30 bucks. I've very well proven that. I think what I'm gonna try to do, we're gonna try to call like 2 or 3 shops every single day. Maybe not weekends, they might be closed, I don't know, we'll see. Next year I think I'm gonna try to call 2 or 3 every single day. And what we're gonna try to do is not sell them right away. We're just gonna ship them one and then only ask that they try to sell it. That'll be it. We're gonna ship them a M3IS, one condition, they try to sell it. And then what we're gonna do, I feel like it would not be unlikely for that thing to sell within maybe a few days of them trying to sell it, maybe a week. I know these guys, they sell quickly. For at least some of the shops, we're gonna get sales right away. So then, what I think we're gonna do is we're going to try to sell them some bulk order. So think about how many of these M3IS I could fit in one of those big boxes. I'm sure I could fit, I haven't actually measured it out with the bubble wrap, but 20, something like that. So even though it's early, I think I can do the math here. 20 times 30, that would be $600. So for something that sells 600, it's very attractive to a retailer, especially a small retailer, to have a well-selling item that can triple their money. A lot of times they're only doing like double or something. Tripling the money would be good. Plus it doesn't take a lot of shelf space. So I think I could sell boxes of 20 for 200 bucks. Obviously that only gives me $10 a piece for these, but the shipping cost when you average it across 20 is, well, let's see here, that would be maybe $1 to $1.50. One of the advantages is we would sell only to places where they're like in Texas, so the shipping isn't very much. It probably cost me $1 to print these, something like that. So we have $2.50 in each one. And if I'm selling it for $200, we're getting $10 a piece. So I'm turning $2.50 into $10. I'm quadrupling my money. In other words, economically, the bulk selling really does make sense. What I would do, I would create bulk listings on my Shopify store, and once they see this thing sells, obviously I'm going to give them, we'll craft a sales pitch. And this will be a part of the show every episode. You'll get to see me making calls and doing the spiel. When I had my vending business, especially towards the end, I really built that business on sales. I would walk into, I've said this before, but I would walk into these like body shops, different kind of mechanic. There's all these, there's like industrial fleet mechanics. They're the kind of mechanics that just service like normal consumer cars. There are people that work on garbage trucks and stuff. And I would just walk into these places. Man, I could tell you so many stories about this. I would just walk into these places and, try and sell them. With the vending machines, I had this flyer where I would find local prices of like honey buns, candy bars. Usually it wasn't candy bars because the upsell wasn't that good on them. Bags of chips, all the kind of things that I know are my best sellers. And I would show the store prices, convenience store prices, and then I would show my prices, which were always like 20 cents less or something like that. I'd highlight my prices in yellow and make them look cool, like, ooh, look how much cheaper, blah, blah. Cans of Coke, way cheaper. It's like back in those days, at a convenience store, a can of Coke was like $1 or something, and I was usually charging 75 cents. So you practice your spiel. I always got a clipboard because people just respect people with clipboards. Optics matter with that kind of thing. We would craft a spiel and we'd have lots of time to refine it because we're making 2 or 3 of these calls every single day. I feel very confident that I could probably sell these things. Plus, one of the things that's nice from the manufacturing end, it's much easier to paint like 9 of these or however many I need to paint of these all at once, rather than like individually, because you just like you just bulk it, you just batch it. Especially with lower cost items, that shipping price eats into it so much. So the bulk shipping really does like balance the scales a little bit. So as to my expected results, I think what we would do is we would commit to calling about 100 shops. Gift shops, we'd think a little bit about what the intended client would be. We would commit to calling 100. What I think, the vast majority probably aren't going to go for it, and it would be just a waste. But we'd probably get something like a Price's Law distribution or a Pareto distribution, where a small percentage of the people that I actually get to agree to receive one of these will pay for all the others. So a lot of things in nature follow a Pareto distribution, and what that is like, here, let's actually have some examples right here. A lot of you will remember the Bulldog Tank Commander. He's not fully painted yet. We have sold one of these, and it took like a year for one of them to sell. So that's kind of a very, very low reward investment of time. Here we've got Socrates. This was a very, very low to mid tier item I introduced probably 3 years ago. We have maybe sold a dozen of them, maybe like 20. This is an Einstein. If we include all the different varieties of Einstein, I have sold mid 5 figures of these guys. So a very, very small percentage of the products, of course, that you introduce into the marketplace will sell enough to make up for basically everything else, but you have to introduce a whole bunch of products. We've done 570 products. What I'm expecting basically is when I call up these retailers give them my spiel, tell them a little bit about the product history, why it might be good for them. We'll outline all the things in a way that isn't too wordy, and I think will be reasonable. Really emphasizing that they're not having to buy anything. I'm just giving them something. It's easy to give somebody something. My bet is that a very small percentage of those shops that actually agree to receive this will be like, wow, this thing sold really quickly. Sure, I'll buy like $200 worth of these things. We could make $600 with that $200. I'll send them the nice, easy checkout Shopify link, and probably a very small percentage, like the Einstein was a small percentage of my products, we'll probably actually sell quite a few of them. So that's going to be next year's experiment. And it's going to be fun because it's kind of like old school selling. One thing I kind of miss that this company, this business doesn't really give me is like that old school talking to people, selling things thing. To me, like a great, almost the purest free market thing is like you're going to a festival, you baked a bunch of pies, you're talking to people, being like, here's a sample of our pie. Do you want a pie? It's just the cleanest, most perfect voluntary exchange, and it's just wholesome and great. That's what things should be like. And so I do miss that. Doing all this SEO and complicated strategies and stuff and trying to like take the perfect pictures, there's a certain human element that gets crowded out with that whole dynamic. So it'll be fun, and it's a pretty low cost commitment, especially if we're shipping in Texas. Shipping out one of these guys is like $4, maybe $4.50 depending. Texas is huge, of course. Like I said, it takes about $1, so let's just say worst case scenario, it's like $6. If we're doing $6 and we're committing to 100, which would probably be over 4 months at least, something like that. $600 is not that crazy a commitment, and the worst case scenario would be making no sales at all, which probably won't happen. Even if it does though, a $600 experiment is not going to wreck things. That's how you got to think about this stuff. This is a very Tim Ferriss 4-hour work week thing. Just think about like, what's the worst case scenario and could you survive that fairly easily? A $600 experiment over at least 4 or 5 months, something like that, not going to break the bank, and it'd be worth doing. And like I said, there's some decent probability that we'll find some store that people just love this crap. And the other thing is we have so many different products that like we can find some store that will sell, like what if we found a rock and roll gift shop and we made like rock star headphone stands for people and they just go nuts? Like that could happen. The other beauty of this is we might get custom orders. You know, they may say, you know, they know their clientele and they might be like, look, we do like this Moai thing, but if you gave us 10 of these kind of headphone stands, people would go nuts. Or just other stuff. Just the act of talking to people, you know, they'll just say things, they'll just suggest things, and you get information from that. Anyway, we got to get rolling on things. But I was thinking about all this stuff last night. I felt like sharing it. I think this is going to be a really cool 2026 strategy. I like the idea of anything that makes you not dependent completely on like algorithms. Like we're always trying to game the algorithms and nobody really knows how it works. But I know how it works when you're just selling people stuff, when you're just talking to business owners. I talked to so many business owners during the vending machine business days. I know how they think, I know how to talk to them, and I think this could really work. It's old school, but I love it. All right, it's a little cold, so we're driving to the dunk. Hey, can I just get a large cold brew with cream?
All right, that's not full port.
All right, thanks. Whoa, the traffic light is back here. Remember when they tore this down? Kind of glad they brought back that traffic light. Why would they tear down a traffic light, completely remove it, and then build another one? Just seems like some kind of corrupt crap is going on. That's literally like the cliche of digging holes and filling them back in. Although, to be fair, I have a Duncan-shaped hole, and I fill it in all the time. Man, Optimum just charged me like another 130 bucks. I already canceled. Like, that's what we're doing after Christmas season. I'm calling Optimum customer service every single day and canceling over and over and over. We're gonna video it, and if they keep charging me, I don't even know what we're gonna do. Sue them or something? I'm gonna cancel 30 times in a row. If they keep charging me, I'm gonna freak out. The thing that's really crazy is, like, the service I signed up for wasn't 130 bucks. I probably wouldn't have even agreed to that. I'm only paying like 70 now. I don't know how my bill got to be $130. They just decided to charge me probably double what I agreed to. I don't even remember the amount. I got internet at the old location probably 3 or 4 years ago, something like that. Not only are they charging me more than I ever agreed to, they're charging me after I canceled. Like, and they sent me, I think they sent me a confirmation email, or at least I asked them to, and they said they would. I kind of forget. There isn't a circle of hell hot enough for Optimum Internet. It's right there next to FedEx. Actually, FedEx is just in purgatory. Below that, Philabot, and quite a bit below that is Optimum Internet. Even Philabot, in all their deviancy, would never try something as crazy as what Optimum does every day, probably. Let's take the tape off of Lieutenant Nibbles here. Came out pretty good. A couple of touch-ups here and there. Let's do the eyes. Oh yeah, the nose. Let's package all this stuff. Then we're gonna paint a whole bunch of other stuff. Pretty cool jet black Moai. And very nice bronze dwarf. Very nice gold T-Rex. Moai Trio. And another Moai Trio. Here we go. A very nice white Guitar Octo. It turned out real good. And we've got our yellow Guitar Octo. And another white Guitar Octo. Just had a call with the first potential retailer, and I think we might be able to work something out. I kind of gave them the facts and figures, sort of the track record of the products and stuff, and we're at least going to do a trial run, I'm pretty sure. So that's going good. And we've got a big piece of bread. And just a gorgeous silver D20. Oh yeah. And we've got a very nice red octopus. And we've got, of course, Guitar Snake. Another Guitar Octo. We've got a Dorothy Boy here. And we've got a couple of Moais. I got these pot holders at the dollar store today. There is no human being, there's no genre of human being that is happier than a big fat Italian chef. I mean, search your feelings, you know it to be true. Shaky cheese. Oh yeah, we use the Sriracha honey hot sauce. If you remember those pizzas we got from the deli section for $2 a piece, it's right there, baby. You can eat well and cheap at the same time. You really can. Bam. Very good. As a kid, my family used to go to Sam's Club a lot. They would have those samples where they would sell, or they'd be giving out samples of pizza. You always made the pizza in those toaster ovens. This kind of reminds me of that, which is a very good thing. Let's answer the questions. Some of my least favorite people ever are the people that make memes. They write the stuff and they put at the bottom, author unknown. It's like, you wrote it. Like, you wrote it. You're the author. Joe, did you get Star Cellar for the Christmas season? I remember you saying you missed it. Maybe that's contributing to the lower numbers too. It probably is marginally. It makes a difference, but it doesn't make a difference as much as, what am I trying to say? The amount of difference is not really explained by that. J-Man, have you considered Fulfilled by Amazon? Yes, but the problem with that is you have to, for it to be worth it, you have to send a whole bunch of a thing, and you don't know whether that thing's going to sell. Gary7 is talking about that if you want to read all this. There's a bunch of interesting information here. Just join the Discord and check that out. Also, people are posting about their Secret Santa stuff. That is happening right now. It's worth checking out. We released the clip early from this video about the 2026 strategy, and it's kind of blowing up, which is interesting. There's a bunch of comments. Jason King Kong, seen a lot of makers mentioning shipping lately. Have the costs risen faster than other costs? Well, shipping is almost like my only cost. Obviously, there's the plastic, but it's pretty cheap compared to shipping at this point. The only kind of items for me that the plastic cost is cheaper, is more expensive, or the same as shipping costs would be like maybe on some of the really big ones. If it's really complex, like the burger, I'm trying to remember how much the burger costs. I want to say the burger costs like 30 bucks to make, 20-30 bucks to make, and it probably costs like 30, I think it costs 30 something to ship, so it'd be kind of close. Now sometimes you do get bulk orders and maybe the shipping is like 10 bucks, but you can fit a bunch of small things in there and it kind of might be close to $10, but the plastic cost is much less than the shipping. Like I said, on those M3IS, it's like $1 to make one of those, and shipping is like $4 to $5. The Scottish 3D sounds like a great idea to try. It'll be fun to watch your progress. It'll be good content, if nothing else. That's like almost half my motivation for making sales calls. It's like, it's something to do, you know. Mopar Dudes sounds like it's going to be a fun adventure and maybe very profitable too, sir. Can't wait to watch. Thank you. JR303, thank you M3 for making coffee and printing a perfect combo. There's no better combo. Man, what would I even do without coffee? Shrivel up and die. Hack Monkey, you think this is a new one? I am all about bagged cereal. Packaging is probably half the cost of a major brand box cereal. Most consumers have no idea how much fancy packaging contributes to a product's cost. And how you know this is true is because even the boxed cereal comes in a bag. It's just inside the box. Why have the box at all? I don't know why. I don't eat cereal. I mean, I try to not eat a lot of carbs. The pizza today was not so great. But there's just something about having cereal that I just never think about it. I ate it all the time as a kid, but if I have cereal, it's like in the cabinet and I'm not looking at it. And then like you gotta eat enough cereal so that you go through the milk. The milk goes bad and then it's just sad. It's just kind of hard to have cereal, but life is hard in general. Well, let's see here. What am I grateful for? Sales are pretty good. People are really buying Guitar Octos. I really should have made more of them in advance. If it had been a busier Christmas, that would have been a real problem. But we managed to stay on top of things. It was nice doing the sales call today. I don't know if we're getting a firm commitment. I'll check back in a few days. But I feel like we're gonna do at least a little bit of business. It's kind of a prototype for what we might be doing the next year for sure. So I'm pretty grateful for that. Let me know in the comments what you are grateful for. All you gotta do to be in the gratitude gang, be grateful for something. Write it down in the comments. Join the Discord. Join our adventure and our journey. I will see you on the next episode. Peace out.
I can't stay around you. say what I need. This blinding adolescence I'm seeing to standing in a moment. What has been is cast aside, frozen there as time rode. I know that you must have died. Light waves surround you. Open up your mind. Time to say auf Wiedersehen. Open up your mind. Create me something precious. Find me something free. Empty my possessions. Everything I need. Through emotions. And we're all going to die. So leave me something precious. Another glimpse of